That's the guy in past years who we've been playing against and been like, man, fuck, this guy is just working his ass off and getting like cheap points on us over and over. It's kind of nice to have that kind of guy now, see him go in and just completely bust his ass. You can tell when he's playing well because he sweats so much and he just looks so tired. I don't want to get ahead of my skis, but I'm pretty excited actually about this big man rotation. And
you do.
Like,
get ahead of him.
Well, I want to, but I'm trying to rein it in a little. But to see what like Jason Tatum has turned big men into in past years, and to see that these guys are playing this well even without him is like very, very promising for two guys. It's been the theme of the show arguably this year, water finding its level. We've talked about the Celtics have had a rough year shooting. We know there's going to be some games, as we've seen for the past, like these are good shooters. There's going to be some games where the Celtics are hot and just blow teams out. Part of it, I'm sure, was aided by the opponent, but there are going to be random games, but 5-10 games this year where probably it's just like, oh, we're on, and suddenly we're up 20 and we boat race a team.
Screws loose, they done stripped the bolts on them. Should've never sent them to pick up the work for them. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart Boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all
right. Greetings, Chudlings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner. It is Wednesday, November 12th, and the Celtics get a big win over the lowly, depressing, hapless Grizzlies. No Ja Morant for them going tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about that team and just kind of where they're at. But the Celtics get the big win, 131-95 is the final. Celtics are back. Dugouts is back. Chud, great job last night. Solo pod, never an easy thing to do. So impressive stuff filling in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a good game. Yeah, you had a good game to go off for sure.
Right. Plenty to talk about. Good game. Obviously, bad result.
Yeah, awful result. But good to see you again. How you doing? How you feeling after tonight?
Good. I mean, better. It's nice palate cleanser tonight. As I said at the end of last show, 5-7. No such thing as a must-win this early in the NBA season. But with that team limping into town after they played and got bagged last night in New York, it was like, if you don't win this game, that is not good. And that was even before Ja was ruled out. They got, they're banged up across the roster. So a game that I really wanted to win, and like to win it in that fashion was very, felt good and like reassuring of like, okay, maybe not all.
I don't think I've never needed the Celtics to just go out and fucking shit pump a team. Excuse my language so early in the show. Just absolutely crush a team than I did the Celtics tonight. So that was obviously a huge relief to see that go down. One of those games too, they got into the big lead early in the third or in the second quarter, I should say, coming out. It was a little shaky right out of the half, but then they just took control and kind of just ran away with this one. So I don't know. I think good place to start might be just the lineup change. We've had that starting lineup set for the first. I think
for a bit
after
now.
the second or third game, it's been Minott. Obviously, he played about 8 minutes last night, and then today, Jordan Walsh stepping in right off the rip, making plays, making an impact. He's hitting some threes too. It looks pretty good. We're obviously a very pro Minott pod, but it's I think it's well within Joe's right to be tinkering this early in the season with the lineups. But what did you think about Walsh getting the start?
Absolutely. And I mean, Minott had earned that starting spot and they were playing well with him. But I mean, in the last few games, it's hard to argue that Walsh has earned the spot. And nothing is set in stone really with this team, especially beyond the first few guys. So he's, Walsh went from completely out of the rotation to getting some decent bench minutes to starting and being like a vital player who plays a very, very important role. And as we kind of mentioned, like Minott and Walsh, what they do is pretty similar. So it's almost like as long as one of them is out there doing it well, we're good. It was Minott for a while. Lately it's been Walsh, and it seems like, Minott is almost in a little bit of a funk now. I don't know if part of it was doghouse. Again, we talked about just like the fouling, because last game it didn't seem like anything was really out of the ordinary. He ended up playing 8 minutes, but it was like normal minutes, and he just kept coming out because of fouls. And then the second half, Walsh started. Minott didn't play at all. So interesting, obviously, and I think it's Joe tinkering, Joe teaching. We know he's always like trying to keep these guys on their toes, keep them trying to prove something. And again, like Minott, we've loved what he's done, but this is a guy who it's not like he's proven anything in the NBA. We basically signed him off the scrap heap to a
Right.
minimum contract. He's looked good, but it's like, all right, now let's deal with some adversity and see how you handle that. So I think there's all these little teaching points and lessons for a kid who's still like 22 years old. And, we're not going to get down on him for a couple bad games. I don't think we saw he was an all-star after 5 good games either. So, and again, to me, it's more about
that there might have been
all-star ceiling in the future, not this
all-star
year.
buzz.
Not this year, year. Come on.
All right.
It's honestly, it's less about Minott to me and more about Walsh. He has been so good.
I agree. I think that's a great way to put it.
Taken this job and earned it. And from the first possession of the game, I think I texted you, like, Walsh looks like Giannis out there. He went out, first of all, he's guarding Jaren Jackson Jr. off the rip, by far their best player, a big power forward.
Mm-hmm.
After last night playing the best defense I've ever seen on Tyrese Maxey for the whole game. That's absurd. And I don't doubt that
Paolo the game before.
Right. It's like any
like 3
kind of
stars were all completely different types of players.
Exactly. And I bet you, like, obviously I had no way to know this, but I'll bet you if Ja played, he very likely might have started on Ja and been the assignment on him too. Just unbelievable, that defensive versatility and how good he is. Again, first minute of the game, it was one of their first possessions of the game. He helped on someone else, switched off Jaren, and then came back and stuffed him from behind. And then was like behind the play, sprinted down the court, got the ball, and made like a nasty Euro step in transition, silky smooth finish with like some English off the glass. Just like, who is this guy? Where did this come from? And just like the confidence he's playing with is now just like, holy shit. It's like he's proven to himself,
I think that's the biggest part. Is he
getting more and more comfortable?
I think that's the biggest part, is because now it's like there is that opening, a clear opening for him to take minutes. Whereas I think when you used to get run with the team back when it was, the fucking Avengers, it was, a lot of pressure. Like, you mess up once, dude, it's like, all right, sit down. Like, we don't need, but now it's like, we need it. So if you're going to go out there and do it, like, the rewards will be instantaneous. Like, there is no like, hey, that looked good, but you have 4 other guys starting ahead of you. It's like, you could be the guy. You can be the starter. So
right,
Walsh, he's looked sick. And I was a Walsh, like, I don't want to say hater, just kind of like
skeptic.
Like, I just didn't think it was going to happen. Like, it just was like, I thought we'd seen enough. What did you say?
Skeptic, I think is a good word. You were a Walsh skeptic.
Skeptic, yeah, skeptic's good. Yeah,
skeptic.
Yeah.
Which again was warranted, but like you were saying, basically before, he's coming in, he plays wing, so he's looking at the roster and he's like, I either need to get minutes from Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, or like maybe Sam Hauser. I don't know, but it's an uphill battle. Whereas now he's like, I'm competing with like Josh Minott and Hugo Gonzalez for minutes, and like legitimately one of those 3, it seems like is going to play. So the job is there. So I think that in itself is probably lighting a fire under you, and it's more of a sense of like, now I belong. I'm sure he looks at those guys as somewhat of like big brothers and like, they're just alphas to me. But now it's like, I'm arguably the veteran around this group. I've been here longer than most of these guys, certainly in Boston, if not the league. He's obviously still younger, but you can just see that confidence growing. And again, it's like every time he plays, I see a little something more, like that Euro step tonight. The threes, he hit another 3, at least 1, maybe 2. But more importantly, he's just shooting them. Like when he's in the corner and he catches an open 3, he's just letting it fly and it looks smooth. It's not going to go in every time. But again, it's just like playing, it looks so natural, like on offense. He's not hesitating. Before, it seemed like he was overthinking every time he got the ball. He was like, not panicked,
absolutely.
But it was like there was the weight of the world every time he got the ball. Now it all looks so smooth. And I think that's a good turning point to the team in general. Just night and day. I know you probably weren't watching with the closest lens on last night, but this couldn't have been more night and day from last night. It's almost funny to watch the team play. The first half, Celtics last night, stuck in mud, no ball movement, no pace, could not buy a shot. Everything was so hard. Like one of the grossest offensive halves I've seen the team play. Tonight, they might have scored more points in the first like 8 minutes. It was like, how is this the same team? The ball movement tonight, unbelievable. Part of it obviously is the Grizzlies' defense.
They had 34 after the first quarter tonight. I think they had 41 in the first half. So
Brown and Pritchard, and White yesterday were 2 of 20 shooting in the first half. The 3 of them combined.
Yeah, you had some great stats in the solo pod, Chud. What did you were like a little bit more locked in doing the tweets or something?
Maybe.
I was impressed. You had some good stats.
Yeah. No, I was on it. Well, they were good, perhaps, but not good for the Celtics. It was concerning.
Now,
tonight was
like
the opposite.
Allow me to pour a little bit of water on that. Like, is that like Is that us, or is that it's the Grizzlies and the other team is the Sixers, who seem to be a legit team?
Definitely some of both.
The quality of opponent.
Yeah. No, definitely some of both. But I think also like bitter taste in your mouth off the loss, coming home, Grizzlies team on the second night of a back-to-back. But also, as has been the theme of the show, arguably this year, water finding its level. We've talked about the Celtics have had a rough year shooting. We know there's going to be some games, as we've seen for the past, like these are good shooters. There's going to be some games where the Celtics are hot and just blow teams out. Part of it, I'm sure, was aided by the opponent, but there are going to be random games, not as many as in years past, but, 5-10 games this year where probably it's just like, oh, we're on, and suddenly we're up 20 and we boat race a team. And that's kind of what happened tonight. And it's just like, I think a lot of it is just variance night to night. Because last night in the first half, I mean, there was getting some good looks. And like Derek White in the first half missed 3 wide open corner threes that he just doesn't miss. And tonight it was like he could not miss. So some of it is just, basketball's a weird game. But yeah, tonight was one of those nights. They just had it.
I don't see too many games of us boat racing teams. I think the Grizzlies are a rare roster situation that the boat racing becomes. Okay,
right?
Wizards.
I mean, that's two boat races in 12, 13 games. I maybe even be forgetting one.
Yeah, it's good. I guess it's a good pace. Good
I said 5 to 10 a year. I feel like that's about right. Last year it was probably like 35.
Yeah. I feel like last year we had like as many
every
30
other game.
win or 30-point leads as
right. So different season, but
this
I
was
think
the ultimate get right. Like I said, the mood would have been an absolute catastrophic if they didn't show up tonight. So I think it is. I think a part of it is that like if it was the other way around and this was the first part of the back-to-back, I could see maybe it'll go a little bit differently, but it was good just to see them sort of respond and not kind of get down on themselves after that loss last night. I know Jaylen, I saw him after the game taking a lot of accountability for sort of his play and stuff like that. So, and like I said, I desperately needed to see us kick the shit out of someone. And so that was nice to see that tonight. Certainly
it was nice. Yeah, and kind of a perfect storm where, again, I think it being that Memphis team rolling in helped and maybe made it look better. But I do think there is something too that with the Celtics team, there's enough talent there and especially enough shooting that there are going to be nights where we could have that result even against a good team. And tonight, like we got ourselves going and into a rhythm early when the Grizzlies were still into the game. And again, some of those, like we were just banging shots left and right and playing with the kind of energy where it's like that could have been a way better team. And I still think we would have, it was just like the way we were playing compared to last night. That's just a stark contrast. And it's obviously really good to see. And it starts with White and Brown, who were ice cold last night, and they were red hot tonight. I don't know what they finished with because they basically played half the game. But they were awesome. They set the tone. And like you said, the accountability, it's one thing to say it. They went out and proved it tonight with the way they played. And again, it's funny for Jaylen even to be saying that and talking like that, because if anyone like doesn't need to take accountability, it's him. He's been absolutely unreal. And this is a guy who had like a serious hamstring injury. We thought he was going to miss time. He's played every game back-to-back tonight, coming out with energy right off the bat. Like, shouldn't be taken for granted what Jaylen has done to start the season and where we'd be without him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. As far as like the leadership role is, he's certainly assumed that role. Oh my God, they're just showing Garza sprinting up court after he hit that corner three. I don't know if you saw the way he sprinted. We've talked a little bit about the way he runs.
He only sprints one way.
Like at first I thought he was doing like a celebration, but then I realized it's just literally him just like arms were just like swinging so heavily. I did want to mention too, one thing that I think we were doing really well tonight that I would say we haven't looked great at since obviously the loss to the front court that we've had, losing Horford, losing Cornette, the pick and rolls, like all the rollers, like the passes to the guys rolling towards the basket, like it just was all like very crisp. It felt a lot more like on time. Passes were getting there. They were getting there on time. They were reaching. They had a few up above the rim for Queta. Like if they can get Queta in that above the rim shit, like down more, I feel like there's been a few times where he goes up and ends up having to come down with it or something like that. But it just all looked really good. Just all those actions and stuff like that. And that's just like, I think, you definitely watch with more of the X's and O's eye, but for me to notice that, I was like, okay, these guys. Garza too was, we mentioned, a week ago when, we said the guy can't get out of the way, looked really good on some of the rolls that he was having too and getting stuff done around the basket. So If they can get that moving, that's a big difference. Again, could be the opponent, but tonight it looked really good, and I think that's at least a little bit promising.
Very promising, and I think it looked really good tonight, and part of that was the opponent, but I think it underscores that it's been actually pretty good for the last few games, and quietly, since the first few games, the Celtics have actually had one of the best defenses in the league. It's really been their offense letting them down, surprisingly, and they've kind of figured out this big man rotation, and again, there was a little blip on the radar from Garza early, but like, he's been great the last few games, and Queta's been great too.
Ever since we gave him a pep talk.
The center rotation really has not been the problem for this team. Are they perfect? Obviously not, but like they're doing enough that you can't blame them. I mean, for what we're paying for them, it's like a really, really solid front court. Queta, pretty much since the start, has been good. He plays within himself. He doesn't miss. He blocks some shots. He rolls hard. He hits the glass. Garza is coming around and just like finding his rhythm, and to the point where it's like they don't miss a beat because they're both playing that way, like you mentioned, with the screening and the rolling. Garza's a fucking animal on the offensive glass. How many offensive rebounds and layups did he have tonight? It felt like at least like 5 or 6.
His offensive rebound, I think they said, is like
57%.
His like percentage of rebounds is higher. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but he like it shows watching it because he is just an animal and like working for the ball, and that's the kind of thing we need where we're talking about like the offense is struggling. We're not getting as many of those easy baskets as we have been in past years. We got to find other ways to score, and a guy like Garza who's just a bulldog, like I feel like that's the guy in past years who we've been playing against and been like, man, fuck, this guy is just working his ass off and getting like cheap points on us over and over. It's kind of nice to have that kind of guy now, see him go in and like just completely bust his ass, and you can tell when he's playing well because he sweats so much and he just looks so tired. It's like, I love that. He's just so clearly leaving.
He's absolutely huffing it. It's absolutely crazy
on the court. Yeah, but it's paying off the last few games. To see him hit that corner three too was that's like the one thing that hasn't been going. But if he can actually start to consistently hit some threes, that make it be a pick and pop threat too. Like for 12 games, I don't want to get ahead of my skis, but I'm pretty excited actually about this big man rotation. And
yeah, you do.
Like,
get ahead of him.
Well, I want to. But I'm trying to rein it in a little. But to see what like Jason Tatum has turned big men into in past years, and to see that these guys are playing this well even without him is like very, very promising for two guys who are very young still and very cheap.
Yeah, I think to your point too, like the bigs, like going into the season, the front court was obviously the huge concern. But you're right, I don't think that's been the problem with the team. I'd still say that's like their biggest weakness. But I think it's been the offense overall. I'm not saying that's what you were saying anything different than that. I'm just saying like the bigs, they have, I think, overperformed. So it's like as bad as you thought that was going to be, they've been playing well enough. Like that's not the reason why the team is 6-7 or is having some struggles. Some of those games we lost by a shitload of rebounds, so it certainly looks that way. But I feel like overall, it's like the offense just being clunky, stagnant, whatever. Since that's leveled out, exactly. I don't think we've really been dominated rebounding in a few games, but
no,
it's been the offense the last few losses that's just let us down. So 100 points last night, so it was nice to break out of that.
Exactly, we were due for just a shooting explosion like that for sure. And also, I think the centers give credit for, but also give credit for Joe for kind of realizing that the team needs a power forward like either a Minott or Walsh who's going to come in and also really, really help to clean up the rebounding, especially because like Garza, we've seen, if you're going to ask him to be your quote unquote rim protector, like he's obviously never going to be a rim protector, but he's the last line of defense on defense. So if he's playing a drop and you're asking him to get out and contest after like a pick and roll where a guy's coming down the lane, someone else has to fill in and rebound. You can't expect Garza. I mean, look at that man. He's not going to contest a floater or turn around and get the rebound. So you need your Minotts and your Walshes in the world flying in. And it seems like as the season goes on, Joe is figuring it out. And again, if you look at the stats, Celtics, I'm pretty sure, have a top 10 defense in the league. And a lot of that has been from cleaning up the rebounds. So it's impressive what they've pieced together. Now, if the offense could just catch up, if they can get the defense they've been getting and the offense we got tonight, then, we're really cooking with gas.
Yeah. No, this was exactly what I kind of wanted to see out of him. So you got anything else specifically on this game? I know you want to talk a little bit about the Grizzlies in general, but you got anything else on the game notes?
No, I mean, not really. Just really, really encouraging. Like I said, we needed to see a lot from all of those guys, and I think for the most part, we got it tonight. It's kind of funny. The one guy who wasn't going was Hauser. It felt like wasn't joining the party, and Scal was almost like willing him to get going for a stretch there. He kept being like, all right, this is the one. This is the one. Finally,
They were
hit one,
gooning hard today on the.
Yeah, understandable.
I know it has a different phrase for
justified.
some generations, but yeah.
No, I think it was.
No,
was
yeah, I was enjoying it. I feel like one of those. It was a game like this where it's kind of fun, where it's like they just get to kind of fuck around.
Yeah, and then a little odd, I thought, like putting some of those guys in, like that Hauser was in and White was in and Pritchard was in, like mid fourth quarter, up by mid 30s, and so I was kind of like, all right, part of this is maybe just Joe being weird. Part of it is, these guys have been kind of cold, so good opportunity to let them maybe get into a rhythm, shoot themselves hot. And part of it is maybe just me realizing like this is a new team and we haven't earned the right to rest with 30-point leads in the fourth quarter. I don't know. Maybe a combination of all three of those things.
That. Maybe White can be out. I mean, at the end we were like, get Jordan Walsh out of there. He's too important.
Yeah. Well, that was like the last few minutes. But I mean, Pritchard checked back in with like 7 minutes left, up by like 34.
I think he was trying to get a double-double. He was an assist
away.
Oh,
was it? Oh, okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Then. I thought that was odd in the moment.
Yeah.
But again, all of those guys could use some more reps and see some shots go through the net. I think would probably be a good thing for them long term. And again, they don't play again until Sunday, so no real risk, I guess, in getting some extra tread on the tires there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Grizzlies here. This is a team that we saw is kind of in a real rock and a hard place type situation. For my perspective on the Grizzlies is this is a team that just a few years ago was fucking like real good. I don't know why they fired that coach last year. The coach they have this year, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but that just does not seem like the kind of guy that's going to jive with Ja Morant anyway. So I wonder if they kind of expected something like this to happen. But now we just obviously know Ja. I mean, he's out today, injured. We're going to take their word for that on that, I guess. But
second night
they just don't really mean that. Besides Jaren Jackson, like they don't really have anything. I don't know. Do they have picks? Do they at least have picks? Are they fucked? Like, what is this team? Because I don't think they'll get shit for Ja, but I don't think they can move on until they move on from him.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a fair way to put it. They are definitely in a tough spot. Some of it self-inflicted, some of it not. I think the coaching situation, you said, not long ago they were good. Last year, they were the 2 seed last year until like after the All-Star break.
That was last year?
They didn't finish as the 2 seed, but they were like for half the season, they were the 2 seed in the West. And then they started falling apart. Then they fired the coach. Wow. Then they finished really bad, almost fell out. I think they ended up in the play-in. Yeah, they got the 8 seed, played the Thunder, and then were winning that game by 30 points when Ja got hurt. And then obviously OKC swept them. Whatever. But a serious fall. And the shame of it to watch is how you said at the beginning, like a hapless Grizzlies team. And I know there's a talent gap and they got guys injured, but it really did look like they just almost gave up on the game. And, this isn't the doldrums of March. This is the second, third week of the season. And that's what's sad is that, again, the Grizzlies, we've kind of dominated them over the years, but they've always been like a team that I've really respected. This is the grit and grind Grizzlies. Like they're known for their effort and playing hard and physical and all that shit that like Miami wrote on the court. That's actually like kind of how I feel about the Grizzlies. Like they've built a good culture that's based around like giving a fuck. And to see that team play like that tonight was honestly just like kind of sad for a small market team that's never, reigning in the superstars. I feel like they've at least always like played the game the right way and been a team that like, I know no matter what, they're going to come play hard. They're going to be a pain in the ass. Tonight was the complete opposite of that. And it's just kind of sad and disappointing state of the franchise. Now, the Ja situation is a tough one because part of it is personality. Part of it is injury. Part of it not jiving with the coach, whatever you want to call it. But the biggest part of it to me is just the actual on-court product and that he has completely fallen off. And since he's come back to play, like he hasn't really played consistently. And when he does, he's just a different player. His rim attack rate has gone down. Like I don't have the stats in front of me, but he used to basically score almost 50% of his points around the rim. It's down to like 12 or 15. He's not generating those rim looks. He's still never become a great shooter. Without that, it's kind of like, what are you? Like, he was so good because he was so unbelievable at pressuring the rim. He would either draw fouls, have these ridiculous finishes, make all these plays. I mean, he was a human highlight, really. He's a machine. And it's looking sadly like a almost Derrick Rose-like trajectory of just completely changing, not being able to sustain that. And once that's gone, it's not like he's a Steph Curry shooter that you can fall back on. He's really not a great shooter at all, frankly. So if he's not really pressuring the rim, he's not getting to the free throw line, it's not like he's also some, like 15, 20 assist guy who's going to run the show, then it's kind of like, what argue it's really not that good. He makes $50 million a year, also on a huge deal, like you said. So I think it's just that alone is like really, really tough. And then you factor in the coaching thing. This new coach, Thomas Isolo, who I think is a good coach from Finland, they brought him in to bring this like European offensive style to the NBA. Now his style is not jiving with Ja at all because it's a very free-flowing offense that de-emphasizes pick and roll, which obviously most of NBA offenses are based around pick and roll. The Grizzlies are now running a system where they're almost moving away from the ball. It's kind of described like a wheel where the cutter will kind of cut into the lane and everyone else will almost rotate out of there. So the guy at the free throw line will kick out to the wing. The guy in the corner will cut under the basket. The guy from the wing will fill in the corner. So everyone's kind of moving one position away from the ball, like a wheel around with the guy who's like cutting in. It really changed the game
or something. Like, I don't know how to.
Yeah, when it's working, it's really hard to guard. And it just creates open look after open look. So it was kind of a struggle of him trying to implement that offense and Ja pushing back because he's basically his whole thing is running pick and roll a zillion times. So even in that sense, it was kind of a sign of like, all right, this is weird. Something's got to give. Now, the assistant coach who came in, I'm struggling to remember his name. Unfortunately, they got rid of him in the offseason. It was his offense. They got rid of him. Miami hired him, actually. Spo brought him in and changed the Heat's offense, which is pretty incredible for Spo to trust this guy to change the offense. It has worked wonders. The Heat have gone from one of the most boring teams to one of the most exciting. Tyler Hero hasn't even played a game, and they have one of the best offenses in the league with this fast pace. The ball's humming around. All those big wings, Wiggins, Jaquez, Jovic are thriving off of this like pace and cutting system. It's crazy to watch. And it's just like a fascinating kind of back and forth contrast of styles. And it's like, I don't know where this ends up. Now, the other thing with the Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson Jr., as you mentioned, he was really their star on the court tonight, but we saw how much for a power forward he needs a center out there. Because for kind of a quote unquote big, he doesn't rebound. He's not a good rebounder and he can't stay out of foul trouble. He wants to play on the perimeter. He's a good shot blocker, but that's it. And you saw Jock Landale was their starting center. Not an NBA caliber center. They missed Zach Edey. We haven't mentioned him yet. He was drafted to be the center, obviously, next to JJJ.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Edey. What the fuck was he?
You saw. He's hurt. He's actually on his way back. Dead? He had off-season surgery. No, he should be back soon. I think he was upgraded to like questionable for tonight. Obviously didn't play, but he should be back soon.
Yeah.
But you'd think him and Ja would be like a perfect little pick and roll match for when they do want to run it. So again, they were missing him. They're missing some other guys too. They suffered some injuries, I think, even during the game. But long-term direction, it's just a weird spot. They obviously traded Desmond Bane, who was a core part of like their big three, and got 3-4 picks back from the Magic. So that's something. Jaren, I don't know if they want to trade Jaren. I don't know what to do with him. I mean, he made All-NBA. He makes a lot of money too. Ja. And like the thing is, when these guys have played, they have been good as recently as last year. So it feels tough to just give up on this era. But at the same time, it feels like if you don't kind of get out before it's too late, you could be really, really stuck and then not be able to do anything. Like, I think now, I don't think Ja package would be like what it was a few years ago if you tried to trade him. But I'm sure there's still a couple teams out there that could convince themselves like, oh shit, John Morant. Like, there's some dumb teams that would definitely still give up a nice package for him.
That contract is so bad.
Definitely. But still, I guarantee it only takes one team. I'm sure there are a few out there who could convince themselves to give us a John Morant and it's off to the races. I'm not saying it'd be a good decision. I'm just saying I could see someone doing it. Give it another year of this, I could not see someone doing it. So that's why I think why it's tough for the Grizzlies, because it feels like it's kind of like you either commit to it and try again to really make it work, or you kind of get out from under it now and trade him. I don't know, obviously, about the inside the locker room stuff, if the situation with the coach is reparable or not, because the other thing about Isolo bringing that style over is he's a very confrontational coach, and he calls guys out. And obviously, him and Ja had the beef where he called him out. Ja didn't like it, didn't respond well. He suspended Ja for a game. So there's a lot going on. Ja,
I love
frankly,
when they asked him about working with Ja, he was like, "Oh no, I really like it. It's great."
Yeah, it's wonderful. And when they asked Ja,
it's been a great experience for us both.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows how he really feels, what he really thinks, but I think it's pretty clear Ja does not love this style. He's made that pretty clear with some of his comments. It's sad to see him, and I mean, we'll see what happens, because like I said, this has been a team that's always been like a good drafting team, a good small market team that makes good moves on the margins, plays hard, plays well, and usually overachieve. So it's sad to see, but in this Western Conference, it's getting away from them fast, and I'm not sure there's an answer. Silver lining, I love the kid they drafted, Coward. He looks great already. Didn't have a great game tonight, but he's had a really good season. He's promising. So there's still some stuff there, but again, this might be one of those. The way the season's going might be your excuse to like kind of come in and blow it up. Versus I think just again, if you keep trying to ride this out, you might be kind of screwed. So sad to see.
All right.
Is what it is.
All right. Well, yeah. Celtics, like I said, get the ass kicking in. I think, what was it, 131-95, something along those lines.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Big win. 131-95. Oh, that's what I just said. 131-95.
Yeah, nailed it.
Big night. Jaylen 19-6-6, Derek White 25-4, Pritchard 24-6-9. Yeah, so he was in there, I think, to get that double. And then the bigs, Garza 14-7, Queta 13-8. I mean, if those two guys give us that kind of production, it's basically like having one six center.
But yeah, as I was just gonna say, if you think of it as like one stud center and just combine their stats, that'd be fucking all NBA player.
Yeah. So yeah, those two players are pretty much as good as better than what one would be. So it's actually better for us. All right, let's pay some bills here. Let's get into it a little around the NBA talk. Chuddy's Corner, sponsored by Mario's Roofing, Mario's Siding, Mario's Windows, Mario's. You just got to call Mario's. At Mario's, we pride ourselves on quality, safety, and value. We wouldn't do anything to your home that we wouldn't also do to our own. Call Mario's today. Ask them about their winter specials. As you know, winter is coming. Some of you may have seen snowflakes these last few days. There's been a few squalls around these parts. It's going to build up. Going to be a lot of snow on that roof. Make sure it's not leaking. Make sure those windows aren't drafty. Think about all the money you can save on your energy costs when you get rid of those drafty windows. Call Mario's today at 781-344-2420, or you can visit online at mariosroofing.com. Mario's Roofing, we won't soak you in order to keep you warm and dry.
Chuddy's Corner also sponsored by Nick Perino Real Estate. NickPerino.com, NickPirino.com, your home for all of your real estate needs. You're in the real estate game. You need somebody you can trust in your corner. You really would like to have a Chuddy head in your corner. Well, good news. That person is Nick Perino, OG Chuddy head. He's been on the show many times, longtime co-host, diehard Celtics fan, season ticket holder. He's got the corporate suite, obviously. Guy bleeds green and he bleeds real estate. He knows it all. He does it all. Anything at all you need, you're going to want to talk to Nick. Just go to the site, send him an email, give him a quick call, talk to him for 10 minutes. You'll see the personal care and attention that he is willing to give you. And I mean, I think that'll speak for itself. I don't even really have to say anything further than that. Nick's the guy you want. Make sure you reach out. That's Nick Perino, the official realtor of Chuddy's Corner.
All right. So a little around the NBA. So last night, obviously, you talked a little bit about the big story, which was obviously Nico Harrison being fired. I did just have a couple thoughts I wanted to kind of get into on that. We don't have to rehash the whole thing. So honestly, I think you did a pretty good job for someone who was like, I'm not really going to get into this much. You did cover it pretty well, and that's not a knock on you. It was. How do you not in that situation? Right. So exactly. I won't necessarily. We don't have to rehash the whole entire thing. If you want to hear Chud's thoughts, check out the pod from last night. Remember, we do episodes after every Celtics game. Name another uncredentialed podcast doing that. I bet you can't. It's easy to do it after every game from the parquet floor. These are just my regular hardwood floors that I'm doing it from. It's different. What's that?
So we hear. We wouldn't know because we're not credentialed.
Yeah. All right. The Nico thing. It obviously, we all knew it was going to happen. My only thing that kind of was weird to me was like, and what you told me, you gave some good backstory how the president of operations like doesn't really go to games, which by the way is fucking crazy. Like there's a culture problem too. Well, he went and so they fired, but to me it's like a month ago, all those things that you said for why he had to go were still true. And they could have gotten rid of him before the season. They could have gotten rid of him before the draft. Like before the draft, all the reasons that it made sense to fire him were still true. So it just seems like I get it that it's better to cut the ties now, But I also think, to your point, like the president, what's his name? Dumont. Patrick Dumont. Yeah. I feel like his ass has to be a little bit in the jackpot too. It's like, okay, so 3 months ago all that shit was true, and you decide to fire him now because you actually went to a game and people were like, dude, we're so pissed about this. It's like all that shit was true. So that guy's ass should be in the jackpot too, because you let him basically rebuild the roster for this season, and it's like, and it's not, they obviously have some injury issues, so it's hard to fully judge what the picture might have been. But it's just like, obviously they're taking Cooper Flagg, but you let him take the second round pick. You let him maybe not trade that pick. You might have had a guy come in with an idea that would have been better, but you kind of let this guy set the tone for this season, and then you just fire him 12 games in. It's just sort of like, again, he had to go, but he had to go 4 months ago, and they didn't send him. So it kind of just seems a little bit weird. I'm not saying the guy shouldn't have gotten fired. It just was strange how they went about it, I guess.
I mean,
and that guy, Patrick Dumont, should be in deep shit too.
100%. And I think that's the crux of it, is like what you said is true, but he's like the owner's guy. He's not a basketball guy. He's just the owner's person who like runs the team. I don't know his exact role, but he's not like a basketball guy. No. Like Nico was running the team, and Nico just convinced this guy to go along with him because he didn't know anything about basketball. So my honest take is that in the moment, I think he just believed Nico. Nico sold him this vision, and he was like, okay, sounds good. I don't know anything. But I mean, remember, Dumont is the one who put out that statement of like, we want guys like Shaq and Kobe to build this franchise around, and like, we're unwavering in our opinion on like, he put out that statement. That was his words. So he looks like an idiot, but at the same time, is he supposed to just go down with the ship because he's an idiot? Like, at least he's firing Nico now is better than not firing him. Again, he's not going to fire himself. He's essentially like kind of more the owner than the GM in this situation.
Interesting.
So, and honestly,
so it sounds like Mavs fans are fucked even with Nico gone. If that's their power structure, then they got issues beyond just Nico.
They definitely do, 100%. But again, I think this guy was never making basketball decisions. His only basketball decision was trusting Nico to make the basketball decisions, which was an awful decision. But I think if he hired the right person, like, that would be fine. So, again, and you say, like, what? He just went to a game and that, like, convinced him, which sounds ridiculous. But I honestly think, like, if you've been watching these Maverick games, there's, like, a fucking... it's like stirring. You can feel it stewing watching on TV what's going on in this arena, and it's like uncomfortable through the screen. So I can't even imagine being there, feeling it, sensing it. And now it's like you actually have this great thing in Cooper Flagg, and this cloud is just hanging over the franchise. Like last night, they were shooting free throws with under 3 seconds left to tie the game at home. And the crowd is chanting, "Fire Nico!" during PJ Washington's free throw.
Last night, didn't they?
2 nights ago. Sorry, 2 nights. The night that he got before. The night when Dumont was there.
So the plan's not working. They're still doing it. That would have been funny.
The night when Dumont was there. So, like, you can say it's ridiculous to, like, oh, what, you had to see it? But I honestly think seeing it and being like, holy shit, like, our entire fan base hates this. Like, how? So it's like almost like peer pressure works. Protesting works. Credit to the Mavs fans for going out and making this such a toxic situation that, like, they basically did force ownership's hand of, like, this is not tenable anymore.
Yeah.
I think they maybe thought, all right, the year's over, it's a new year, they'll move on. They obviously underestimated that, and I think seeing all this backlash made them be like, we can't not do this. Like, we have to throw a bit of, like, red meat to our fans, if nothing else. Like, obviously it was the right decision basketball-wise, but even if it wasn't, it's like, okay, part of this is we're running a business, and all of our customers are churning on us. So, like, something's got to give, at a certain point. And again, it was warranted basketball-wise anyway, obviously, based on the trade, based on how much of a pompous ass Nico has been acting like since. And then the stories coming out today are completely reprehensible, that he's forcing AD to play, and the trainers had to come step in and be like, I do not clear him to play. Like, I will not clear him to play. It's like,
well,
that alone is fireable.
Because his ass is in a jacket. Yeah,
but
fucked
still,
too.
Like, that's bad. I mean, that's beyond the scope, really.
Did I hear that they were like sneaking him in with like a portable staircase or something?
Exactly. They were using the ladder from when they set it up for hockey.
Of that?
So that he can just take the staircase out of there without interacting with any fans or anyone in the arena. He could just get in and out.
Where do they put the staircase?
They wheel it in. It's one of those, like, I don't know the exact logistics of it, but I know it's from, like, when they set up
I need the logistics.
But I mean, it's just crazy. The fact that you're going to that lengths to hide this guy from your own fans. And I mean, Jason Kidd had a quote tonight, I think, when they asked him, he's like, how do you keep guys at like here when home doesn't feel like home? And he's like, hopefully that'll change tonight. But he's like, it's a toxic atmosphere when we're playing at home. Like, that's not tenable. I mean, you know, Cooper Flagg's mom was tweeting about, like, how shitty it is. It's like, okay,
that's
your
crazy.
new face of the franchise, 18-year-old's mom is tweeting that, like, this is bad. Like, what the fuck? So,
it's
again,
just
beyond
so
all the
weird
basketball stuff, it's like,
see all of that coming.
well, yes. Yeah, exactly, it is. And
but
again, we can rehash that forever, but it's like, better late than never. The fact that it's late is shitty, but it's still, like, had to be done. So
100% on that.
Yeah, it's crazy. The one thing I mentioned it on the show, but did you see the kid who talked to Dumont at the game with the Luka Lakers jersey? Because this looked like the fakest, most planted thing ever.
Someone like flipped someone off. Was that just like a made up thing?
No, so this kid who's supposedly, because it was like during the game, and it was like a lot of people tweeting and reporting about it that was like, well, this is like weird, kind of how staged this seems. Some random kid, 18-year-old kid, is wearing a yellow Lakers Luka jersey. Suddenly he's sitting next to Dumont, and they're having this like chummy conversation courtside during the game, very like publicly. And then everyone's asking him about it, and he has this story that the kid, his dad's a season ticket holder. He brought him to the first game, and he flipped off Dumont. And his dad wouldn't let him go back until he apologized to Dumont. So apparently his dad's some rich guy, was able to set it up. So he goes in there sitting next to him, which is unreal. He's wearing the jersey. And supposedly they're having this cordial conversation, and Dumont admits the trade was a mistake and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then fires Luka the next day, as this is like the backdrop of the story that they're pushing. I don't believe this story for a second. That feels absolutely ridiculous. Like they're trying way too hard. Again, like you said, I think
you don't need to come up with this kind of excuse,
PR
just
cover
to get rid of them. It's good.
Yeah, it just looks so like cheesy and cringe, and it's crazy. But it's like I think they've at least realized the problem, and it sounds like they're already trying to go back. Like it sounds like they're bringing Cuban back in, and he wants to like lean on Cuban more for basketball stuff. It sounds like they're trying to bring Dirk back and get him into some role with the franchise. So it's like they're trying to go a complete 180 of like, wow, that went poorly. Let's do everything that the fans like and like see if that works again. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's unfathomable to think like 2024 finals. Like that feels so long ago to watch that team now and be like, how did this happen? Like, how did it come to this quickly is unreal. Truly unbelievable. Still, it like really is.
All right. It's the end of an era for the Mavs for sure. What else is going on around the league?
Well, just to stick with that, I think the next natural pivot is like okay. Well, no. But now in terms of like where do they go from here? So now you got to figure AD's gone, right? So like it's going to be the AD sweepstake. Why would they keep him? Like now that Nico's not there and they don't have to cling to this like
they need to trade everything. Trade everything but Cooper Flag.
Exactly.
Trade Kyrie.
Exactly.
Trade
and I don't
AD,
think that was ever going to happen.
Gafford to the Celtics. But now
we'll see again. I think they're bringing in Gafford to love it. So that'll be interesting and another big name to watch. Again, kind of not to the extent as Ja, but I mean, it's going to look so bad to turn around and trade him a year later and see like he got you Luka, and now he's going to get you maybe like 1 first and some salary filler. Like I think the return is going to be so like, oh, how this is awful. But I mean, AD, he doesn't play. He looks fat as shit. And when he does play, I mean, he's good. He's not elite, but he's really, really good. But he's not reliable. He's 33 almost. It's going to be very interesting. I'm not sure what team takes that chance, but interesting to watch. And the Mavericks should definitely go about doing that as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, blow it up. And I don't want to hear any Celtics fans calling for AD.
Oh my God, no.
Don't want to
definitely not. Gafford though, into that. The Simons for Gafford.
Yes.
Deal. Although, hey, Queta and Garza keep playing like this. Maybe not. The other thing too, I saw was interesting. We'll see if this lasts, but they're doing a co-GM thing with Michael Finley and Nick Riccardi, I think his name is. In general,
always work out.
Yeah, like I'm just skeptical in general of that kind of structure. I know the Nuggets are kind of doing that right now with Kemper and Wallace, and it worked. But in general, when there's two guys who are both kind of supposed to be equal at the top, a little dicey. But yeah,
I'm sure one of them was like a legend of the team.
Yeah, that's true. Although this Riccardi guy's really like highly regarded too and stuff. So maybe it'll be a nice mix, and maybe that's why it's a good mix. He's got like the former player mind with like the nerdy analytical mind type thing. So maybe it'll actually work out. Who knows? But honestly, just cheers to like Mavericks fans. This has sucked so bad. I hope that now you can at least like kind of move on. And I don't even know like what to say. It's just so unfathomably shitty.
They're such fucking pricks during the finals. They can fuck off. Cool, they did this. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of a little like French Revolution vibes, or like like France, like they try to raise the retirement age by like a month, and the whole country goes on strike. Feel like that's kind of like what the Mavs fans were doing here. So credit to them for like sticking it out on that. So I guess I should have just completely
just as a fan base, like I respect it.
Yeah,
they forced action.
So, credit to that. All right,
forced action. You don't see.
Can we talk about anything else besides the Mavs, please?
It's hard to. Let's talk about the Clippers. Bradley Beal out for the season. He'll finish the 25-26 campaign with 6 games played. Will slightly lower his average from recent years. I don't know, man. This Clippers situation, they were one of the honestly most positive, surprising stories of all last season, I would say. And this year, it's all gone completely haywire. Kawhi has missed half the games, and I don't know if that's because he's out planting trees or it's a legitimate injury. But Bradley Beal was brought in to basically replace Norman Powell. Norman Powell is absolutely killing it for the Heat, and Bradley Beal is now not playing for the rest of the season and was not playing well when he was there. They miss him badly. Zubats does not look like the same guy as last year. And frankly, they are like need James Harden now to function. Which is James Harden's still getting it done, but it's concerning. And they're like 3-7 and fading fast. And again, in that Western Conference, it's not like the East. You can't get off to a slow start and be jumbled in the middle of the pack. You can sink to the bottom really fast. And that's a very old team that is not built for the future. So if things start to go south, like in a hurry, as it looks like they might, that's going to be another interesting situation to watch. Because it's like, all right, what are we doing here? And then, could that be a team that convinces themselves like we're so desperate? Maybe we now are looking at Ja Morants and the ADs of the world. I don't know. But man, I was high on them coming into the year. I thought they figured out a lot of shit. Ty Lue, who's now caught up in between all these nefarious scandals where all his friends keep getting arrested by the FBI. All his players are now hurt. And
Ballmer's about to go down too.
It's not great. It's not. Yeah, exactly. Like this is what was a really nice story for a few months is now quickly fading to an ugly one. I'm not sure what the answer is there.
All that glitter isn't gold or something.
Yeah, exactly. All that shimmers in this world.
Is that the phrase?
No. Glitter ain't gold. All that glitters is gold. I forget. All that glitters ain't gold. I don't know. Something like that.
Is that Smash Mouth line?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Did I just quote a Smash Mouth line as if it was like a famous like
I was quoting Fuel with the shimmer line. It is a saying, but yeah. But that is a line from All Star.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. I think everyone gets the
good
point.
Stuff. Music trivia. Bonus music trivia. Johnny scored.
Yeah, massive. Staying in LA.
Anything else?
Sciatica boy LeBron returning to practice. Good for him. He's back in the practice facility. I think it's hilarious that he was been assigned to the South Bay Lakers to practice, and it just made me think like how funny it would be like in baseball if a pitcher is coming back from like a rehab start. He might, he'll start in like Worcester or like Portland for the Sea Dogs for a game. It'd just be so funny in the NBA. It's like, LeBron's gonna start for the South Bay Lakers tonight in the G League, like quick tune-up game for him. Would be hilarious.
Is there you think there's absolutely zero chance that happens? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen anybody team do it.
Is Bronny imagine him and Bronny just absolutely dominated the South Bay Lakers game together? Yeah.
That would be awesome. But just another funny thing to watch. And like right now, the vibes for the Lakers have been awesome. They're playing really well, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how LeBron comes back in with this. Clearly not his team. They clearly got a good thing going. Reeves is playing like an all-star. There's only one basketball, so I'm looking forward to things getting a little uncomfortable in LA. Should be fun because frankly, the vibes have been way too good for them. And I know a guy who could change that.
I know just the guy that can totally fuck up your vibes.
Exactly. And I'm excited to see it.
Nice.
Frankly.
Well, hopefully he does that. Hopefully he does that ASAP.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have to wait long. Like I said, back to practicing with the G League usually means not too far off from playing basketball games again, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Weird for me to be saying that it's exciting, but it genuinely is. All right, a couple of games tonight to catch up on. I think the Magic, who we saw kind of play better against us. I thought that we obviously split with them, but I thought they played well. They came out, as I mentioned, they won on the buzzer beater the other night. Desmond Bane hit, went into the Garden tonight and beat the Knicks pretty good. So slow start for a team that I had high hopes for. Seems like maybe they're settling in a little bit. Good to see. I'm happy about that. Team going in the opposite direction. My Bulls.
I saw Franz Wagner. They had a tweet. Franz Wagner goes off in the Garden. It's so funny how MSG is just like known for other players going off. Just a little side tangent. We don't have to go too far down in that rabbit hole, but
absolutely love that.
Most famous stadium, most famous arena in the world. Yeah, and every top performance is not a Knicks player. But go on with what you're going to say next. I just wanted to chirp.
I mean, we're going to obviously ignore Melo's performances, but the Bulls, like I said, been one of my favorite teams. They've now lost 4 in a row. Lost again tonight to the Pistons. I didn't have Josh Giddey again. Kind of fucked up that he literally has missed 2 games in a row with an ankle injury after the injury was literally just getting shook out of his shoes. I almost feel bad, actually.
You have to find a way onto the court after that happens.
Yeah, you can't sit. You can't sit. But they've quickly faded back to almost 500, right back to the pack. The Pistons, though, now 10-2, racing out to the lead in the Eastern Conference.
Jesus.
They look legit. They look really legit. Jalen Duren, I remember when we played them, I talked about him and was saying, like, you know, this might just be because our bigs are so bad. But now that it's been, like, 10 more games, Jalen Duren, I think, might just be an absolute fucking beast, like the next Dwight Howard. And our bigs actually might not be that bad. So that might not have been exactly what I took it as in the moment. He looks amazing. Cade obviously looks amazing. Dennis Jenkins, never even heard of this guy. Chud had never heard of this guy until the other day. Two-way guy. They brought him up because they had some injuries. He banged in 24 points last night, hit a ton of threes, including the game-tying shot right to send it to overtime. Did it again tonight. Came out and was ripping the nets again against the Bulls. Played 40 minutes and scored 18 points, 9 of 19 shooting. Like, guy's completely off the radar, and looks like the Pistons might have found someone. So good for them. That's fun to see that another Eastern team making a leap like that, and just had an awesome game out in San Antonio. Spurs, Warriors. Spurs were kind of bagging them. We had a Steph Curry explosion, completely took the game over in the third quarter at 20-something points. He finished with 44. Went crazy for a little bit there. Always fun to see. Good to see Curry can still do that. That Warriors team, super impressive stuff. Obviously fun to watch. So a lot of good action. Some more action getting started. Thunder Lakers actually just tipped off, so I'm going to be consuming some more basketball, which I am obviously very excited about. And then a couple somber notes if you got nothing else to add.
No, hit me with the somber.
All right, so a couple RIPs. First of all, I should have mentioned this last night, but rest in peace, Lenny Wilkens. Underappreciated basketball, absolute legend. I think the only player to go into the Hall of Fame 3 times. He was inducted as a player, as a coach, and as a member of the Dream Team. Pretty unbelievable. He was the assistant coach on the 92 Dream Team. He was the head coach of the 96 Dream Team. He coached the Sonics to their only championship. Unbelievable basketball career for many years. 88 years old. He was the only guy to be in the NBA 75th anniversary team player and as a top coach and player. So really extraordinary player. When he retired, I think he was the winningest coach of all time. I can remember him from very young coaching the Raptors and the Knicks. That was obviously way, way beyond his later days, but amazing, amazing basketball life. I feel like a little bit underappreciated. And, 88 years old, legend. So good for him. East Coast guy's a New York guy, played at Providence in college too. So can't hate on that.
Yeah. No, I mean, 88 years, like, I always view stuff like that as, like, obviously sad, but, like,
yeah.
Everyone dies. Very few people truly live. So,
amen.
Sounds
Amen.
like he did some
yeah, I'd say a lot of it. Very good life. And then my last one is somber. Personal shout out. Don't usually dip in, but got to give an RIP to my last living grandparent, Grandma Chud. Passed away early this morning at the ripe old age of 103 years old. Talk about an incredible life.
I was going to say, just put old Wilkens to friggin' shame.
Well, yeah, maybe not as accomplished on the basketball court, but off it, much more so. A wonderful lady. honestly a massive sports fan and a massive Chuddy head, and maybe my first biggest influence as a sports fan. I just remember visiting my grandparents as a kid and just being amazed by the sports acumen, how much they loved it. Huge NFL fan. They had the Sunday ticket. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world when I was a young kid. So 103 years old. R.I.P. Granny Chud, like I said, the last living grandparent, and a massive influence on my sports fandom, and a huge Chuddy head, truly to her dying day, and an original OG Chuddy head at that. So, shouts out to Grandma.
Awesome.
R.I.P.
Well, rest in peace to Grandma. And that's just reminding anyone, if you got grandparents still around, give them a call tomorrow. They'll fucking love it.
Definitely.
All right. Yeah. Well, R.I.P. to those. Any other somber notes?
That's all I got. I'm sure there's some more if we really want to dig into it, but
on a positive note, we got 3 days off. Days off, so we'll be back
going to Cancun
on Sunday. Yeah, I think I might fly. Might sneak out the country for a real quick little trip.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll be back again on Sunday. Yeah. So, Study heads, listen to the show. Find that subscribe button. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you're listening to us on the live broadcast on Twitter, thank you for listening. If you missed anything, go ahead and check out the full pod. We'll have that up for you shortly. Get the pods, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, anywhere you get your podcast. You can find Chuddy's Corner. Hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to do the same. Be a good friend. Tell your friends about Chuddy's Corner. We'll see everyone back here again on Sunday. Take care.
Peace out, Chuddy heads.